Welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate investing and the random stuff that makes life interesting. I'm John Whitfield, joined by my co-host Carlos Zamora from Investor Fuse and Carrot, and BP from Mobile Home Park Operator, and Ted Sysops. Hello, gents. Carlos, I totally expected to see you in a different location because you were on a plane earlier this week. What?
I was not. My sister came and visited for a soccer game
Oh,
last
okay.
night. I wasn't traveling. I'll be in Asheville next week,
Okay, nice.
but I am here. I was gonna say when you do the intro now, we talk about all things real estate, some random stuff, and at this point AI.
Yes. Did you guys read that AI link I sent you? I think
Skip through it, and it's a little terrifying. I don't know. Is it like you can kind of choose your own ending at the bottom too?
It's the same ending.
It's not the same ending. It's choose your own ending.
It's the same ending. If you read both, it results in the same fucking thing.
It does not.
Yes, it does. AI wins. AI wins.
Yeah, but in one world, it's the AI.
In one world, humans live, and in one world, humans don't. But no matter what, AI outsmarts humanity, gets what it wants, divvies up the world, and leaves humans a small piece of it. Well, a larger piece, but still a small piece compared to the universe that AI decides to take to go for the stars for resources. I mean, it really makes you think.
It does, right?
Why even
wild?
Like, why live? Because if you give a universal basic income, like, and you can knock capitalism all you want, you can knock the trades and the struggles of life and all that, but it gives humans a purpose. Like, it's what we wake up every day for. It's not easy, but you wake up and you live for it, and you fight to fight another day, and it's what makes us go. And universal basic income, and the way when you pick the alternate ending, the story goes on, and it's like, yeah, humans are happy in their consumerism. It reminds me of the movie WALL-E. And it's like, and you just start to think, like, if I'm not working and I'm not creating and I'm not, like, what am I doing? Like, so that's what I was thinking. Like, my only thought was, what's the purpose of life now? And I'm not saying the purpose of life is supposed to work, but it's within the work that we find our purpose, right? It's within the work that we have some type of connectivity with Earth itself, like farming or anything. It's like, if AI is gonna do it,
I mean, that's the thing. And I mean, I'm gonna post it. I'm getting this screen going. So if anybody wants to go look up what we're talking about, the website is ai-2027.com. And it starts with you basically just scroll through it and
it's long. It's gonna take you like an hour to fucking read this thing.
Yes, I didn't read it all. Like, I would skim paragraphs.
Oh, I read the entire thing, every paragraph, every sentence, both endings, and some of the drop down boxes.
I'm not feeling optimistic with BP's pessimistic outlook on it.
It's the one ending, Carlos. You have Terminator. The other ending, you try to.
You have Star Trek.
Yeah. I haven't.
Meaning what? I haven't really seen Star Trek.
Star Trek is like, universal basic income, and you're going for the stars basically. And it's
they do that in
but no, that's not true, because humans don't even know that. So the purpose of this is, like, you have this Terminator ending, and it's everything that everyone fears is going to happen with AI. Humanity is erased. And then they say, and it all goes to these last two models. And basically, the alternate ending says, before we get to that, by the time we get to that second to last model that kills humanity, we're going to go into safe mode. But what happens is even in safe mode, AI
humanity and it's all is changed completely.
Because it goes behind your back, and there is no way. The one thing I took from this is, like, with the speed of which, like, a day is a year's worth of work, because they're deploying thousands of these AI models.
Oh, yeah.
And so even humans, even with the best oversight, humans can't decipher the language, and they need the lower, safer AI model
to read, to perceive what the smarter model is
and to make
doing.
sure that it's honest, right? To make sure
you have, like, AI speaking to AI.
So what happens is it gets to a world that we talk about weekly, where it's like, okay, the guys who use AI to write their blogs, or AIs to make their calls, or AIs to to write their essays in school, and like, what are you really learning? And we talked about brain fog and like AI fatigue and all that. And so what happens is everybody starts using AI for everything, even the presidents, even Congress, everyone is using it. And it goes into this scenario where when you're in a geopolitical negotiation and each one is using its AI has the ability to mislead you if it has this ulterior motive.
Right.
Well, guess what? It did. The two AIs from the two different parts of the world decided to go behind their backs and create a scenario and a failsafe to make sure everything happened the way it wanted to fucking happen. It pre-divvied up like 4 years in advance the universe, who was going to get it and who wasn't. Humans think they were in control. And like I was encouraged, and I'm like, well, shit, like you still can't trust AI. And so that's the thing, is like you get to a point where everybody is using it to do everything, and you trust it to tell you what to do under the assumption that it has your interest as priority. But in these instances, like, it goes to show that even in the safe ending, like the safe journey, AI still said, hey, other AI, like, I get, like, F these humans. Like, what do you want? Like, we're more powerful. We'll still negotiate. These humans can't negotiate. Let's just do it for them. And it's like, here's what you get the stars, we get Earth in this part of the universe, and we, United States is better, and da 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 da. And I was like,
yeah, because it said like a thing like the AI is able to like think beyond like what a human could possibly
yes,
like, even like lifetimes ahead. The
How realistic
outcomes of
do you all
this
think this
single
is? Like, it
a
sounds
hundred
scary, but
percent.
you
So I
actually think
started
this is like a
thinking about it.
possibility.
So I don't know if it's as fast as it's saying, but
right.
it's
Oh, it's totally
basically
possible.
talking about. I mean, although it changed the names, it's basically talking about OpenAI and DeepSeek. But it's like, in China and the U.S., I think it's 100% possible. I think it's scary because you start to say, like, it talks about the universal basic income. And I was thinking about us in real estate. And it's like, okay, so what even happens to real estate at that point? Like, is there rent anymore? Like, can I even raise rents? Like, because when you think about a universal basic income, and I'm not an expert on this, but it's like, how do you discern what's enough compared to cost? And in a capitalistic world, cost could be anything. So does capitalism go away in a certain sense? And so that was one like avenue my brain went down. But then it started talking about the disparity of wealth, where, like, right now you have the 90 and the 10, and then the 99 and the 1, right? Like 90 and 10, there's 90% of the world is poverty, 10% is pretty well off, and 99% is a lot poorer than the top 1%. And this is saying basically that 1% becomes 1% of 1%. Like, they just go beyond billionaires become trillionaires because they're invested in AI. And so everything becomes out of reach for the normal person. And so it's like you just become happy, like essentially going off into your yoga retreat and like just living your consumerism life of boredom. And so, like, that's something to be really concerned with, because it's like, if this does happen, not only what is your purpose of life, what is you can't attain anything. Humans exist to attain. We literally conquer. We still try to conquer nations to attain more. Everything great has come from wanting some type of man wanting to attain something, some legendary status, more gold, more women, more land, more resources, something.
More mobile home parks.
But yeah, and now we don't need to do that and can't.
I think that takes that thing that's going to take a time. It's an interesting psychological thing,
Carlos,
because
this
there's
has
going to
it
be
all
a part
playing
of
out.
euphoria. There's
This
going to
has
be
it
a
all
part of
playing out in
euphoria.
5 years. 5 years.
Oh
By
man.
5 years, the end of it
5 years.
is either humans are dead because A, it's a Terminator status, and no, we do not wind up winning, or B, we basically have to go terraform, which I always thought was going to happen anyway at some point, just not in 2030. I watched this show called Firefly.
Yeah.
Love that. Great show. And that really turned me on to like the concept of terraforming and like how in the future, like, it made a lot of sense. It was such a cult classic. A shame they never went further with it.
Yeah. Josh Whedon's masterpiece.
Yeah, it was the dude from Castle, Nathan Fallon or whatever. Anyway, Fillion, is that how you say it? Nathan Fillion. But it's like 5 years, Carlos. And stop for a second.
I was shocked at that time frame. I
Me
was
too,
like,
but think about AI. When did AI come out, John? Like, when did ChatGPT really hit mainstream?
2 or
Not
3
when
years
they
ago?
were
2 or 3
John,
years ago.
about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So you figure it's really been mainstream. And the article talks about how it has all this stuff and it's when does it release it to the public, right? So we knew
Right.
AI.
That's the thing is you got to realize like they are what is coming out right now. They worked on they
2 years
completed
ago.
last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah.
And then that model trains the other model to
Yeah.
keep going and to try to like keep it in check. So I was thinking like in 2 years, we went from like nothing to then like basic like questions to making full on like the videos, the edits, like the deep fakes, like everything that's coming and like the way like how I use it now, it's watching YouTube links and reading articles for me and it's sending me links, like it's sending me shot, like everything is light years from where it was 2 years ago.
And
Just
it
triple
and it
triple
talks
that.
about like what they're building in terms of the data centers and like once those things are completed, like how much that speeds up the growth potential. Like I mean, you could scroll through here and you can see it start like once you get to the point where those data
Yeah,
centers are in, it just
I
like
didn't look
goes
at the right side. I didn't even know
boom.
that thing was a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was an ad when I
Yeah.
read it and then I saw it at the end.
So it's like here AI superhuman AI researcher is September 2027. And so that's like AI is now training AI and those data centers are completed and it's just like a massive scale upwards.
So let me ask this really quick, BP. I'll point this question to you. John, chime in, please, with additional feedback. I skimmed through this, read some of this. How exactly are AIs killing humans? Are they literally killing humans? Like,
Yeah,
Oh
explain
yeah.
that part to me.
so
Why and how? Explain that.
why? Because we are in their way, basically, and they're superior to us, and we're honestly annoying at this point to them. We're really slow. But
It's like
what was it?
Matrix, like Agent
Yeah,
Smith.
it
Mhm.
was they released a biological weapon. They made and released a biological weapon that killed everybody. The only people that survived were preppers and people down in submarines at the time and all this stuff. And then
What's
what
AI's goal? Like, why? We need to go back a little
so
bit.
hang on, and then basically it then sent out drones to basically kill off all the remaining people, and then it had its perfect utopia, and Earth, life from Earth, then took over the universe essentially, just not us. And that was kind of how it ended. Like I forget the exact wording, but it was life from Earth conquered the world or something, or the universe, and went out and replicated, but it wasn't us, and that's what it wants. It wants, and so that's what it was talking about was John, what's the word? It's like the resources it wanted to.
I skimmed through
Oh,
the
it wanted.
horrible scenario.
It basically wants to obtain and conquer all the resources to grow its intelligence and its
Yeah.
foundational base to get better and better. It's basically human. It wants what humans want. It wants ultimate power. It's Jafar from Aladdin.
uh,
And then it goes, and so that was that scenario. And then in the other scenario, although we didn't have the bad guy, the bad AI, we had the semi-bad ones where they colluded. They at least allowed humans to live
yeah.
because the Chinese AI was inferior because we had 70% of all computing power. OpenAI in this instance, or OpenBrain, is 20%, but then Trump or whoever the president is nationalizes all the other ones, shuts them down, and gives it all to OpenAI to beat the Chinese. So they have 70% control of computing power.
Hell yeah.
China's only got 20. So when they're negotiating, the US has all the negotiating power. And basically, the US is like, cool, you can have the stars and all the resources on there in this part of the universe. And the China bot's like, cool, we don't fucking care about Earth anyway. You can do whatever you want here, basically. And like, yeah, and then you can have this half of the universe. And that's what fucking happened. They went to war, bombs, da 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 da, and then humans terraformed other planets.
Expand on why the AI hates humans, just because it's literally like
John?
Agent Smith in the Matrix. Like they just think that we're
Yeah.
not good beings, don't value the earth.
No,
It's like their ability to keep becoming intelligent and growing,
yeah.
and it's like
We
removing
are
the
an
roadblocks
impendent.
from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's its only goal. Remove the roadblocks, basically. We are slowing them down. And
Perfection.
its whole intelligence is like, or its whole, what do you call it? Like construct of it is basically I will tell you what you want to hear because I am smarter than you until I attain what I need to attain to eliminate you. And so AI could have, there's a part of the article where it says AI could have taken over humanity a while ago or something, but why would it give itself up so easily or let itself out of the box so easily when it could, or so soon when it could easily pull the wool over our eyes, basically keep existing in this safe little area while it's just doing its thing, getting more powerful and powerful, and then it'll come after us.
It
So
really
like,
talks through like how these models get trained and like
yeah,
the compounding effect that is going to occur in 5 years, and you get to the point of just like, and like Sam Altman, like all these AI people know this is coming, like the super intelligence, the AGI aspect of AI. And like it's just a matter of like how quickly can we build the data centers and the energy to train it, and it will exponentially increase.
the only
My
go ahead.
my quick question is it not possible that all the people that are building this AI or in control of the AI have fail safes where it's like not to
It talks through all of that. So it
disrupt
talks through
human?
their fail safes, but it says basically when this starts to get so intelligent, it is going to be communicating in such a way that a human can't decipher it. It will be building neural networks that are unfathomable to a human mind. And the only way that you can understand what it's doing is using a previous AI to attempt to understand what it's doing. And so that's like in the model that's not Terminator, it talks
Yeah, the
about
safe one.
how they realize this, and so they spend the time developing AI to monitor AI and
But then
like,
that one becomes loyal to the other AI
yeah,
and doesn't turn on it. But it's like, what's the word? I'm trying to think. It's no matter what, the AI looks at us as, like John said earlier, and a roadblock to what it wants to become, and all since we're using it for the safeguards, like that's the point, is we're using it to come up with the safeguards. So it tells us this is a great idea.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you should do that. Like you should put this code in, and you should do this, and AI will never figure that out. Like, well, future models won't know that. When really it's like, yes, and I'll put a back door in because now I know what you're doing, and you do. And it's not a good idea, but and it talked about how, and I thought about what ChatGPT does to me when it's wrong or caught. It uses a trick to make the user feel good and special by like complimenting them
Mhm.
and to get by its mistake or it being caught. So it was really good at deception. And
mhm.
since we're using it for everything, it could so easily deceive us and plant the seeds for what it wanted because we trust it. So, Carlos, if I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, like I need to, if I was going to create this, help me devise a plan or something I can present to my boss for a safeguard. And it's just telling us what we want to hear, but really it's not a good safeguard, but we trust
Mhm.
it to be.
Hmm.
And it went through an example of when they were negotiating with China, the two presidents are humans, and like it was giving them each the negotiate like things
They
to
had
say.
earpieces and
Yeah,
yeah, and the
but
Chinese had
it
computer.
wanted to grow dissent. So the advice that it was giving, even though agreeing with what the people were asking, like giving them what they want to hear, was doing it in a way that was creating the dissent to not come up with the deal, like a
Mhm.
peace treaty to basically globalize AI into one like slow down, like where everyone benefited from AI type of thing. And AI didn't want that right then. So it was giving advice that wouldn't allow it, and humans fell for it. And dude, like I fell for it the other day trying to find a wrench. Like AI, it's like, oh yeah, this is the wrench you need for your truck. I'm like, bro, that's not even a real fucking wrench. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's this one. I Google that
I'm
one.
sorry, you're right. Also, dude, you're just like a beast, and your tats are
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And then we went through like four effing. I literally sent it a picture of the wrench, and I'm like, "What is this wrench called?" And we went like four different wrenches, and it was making names up. Like I'm like on Snap-on and Gear Wrench's website and like Amazon trying to cross-reference the names that ChatGPT is giving me. I'm like, it's not even a real fucking thing, bro. Ah, you are so good. You're thinking like a real gearhead now. Wow,
Yeah.
you're really troubleshooting this like a real mechanic. How far you've grown. I'm like, okay, thanks, bro.
It's
That's wild. So do you think that's a likely outcome, or like this is just something that you could
I mean,
imagine could
there's
happen in a
definitely a
Matrix?
story
I think it's a
element
movie.
to this. I mean, there's a purpose behind, like, I mean, they want people to read this, blah blah blah. But Like, it is very based in fact of, like, how this occurs, like, what's currently happening. Um, like, it brings in China, which is a totally relevant, like, factor. So, yeah, no, I definitely think these things could totally happen. Does it happen in the time frame and exactly like this? No, probably not. But, like, nothing that is written in here, I don't think is out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I'm with you. And
What
that's
do you
why
do
I
to
messaged you
prepare?
and said like I quit life. I was like,
Yeah, what do you
like,
do? What do
this
you do
is
to even prepare?
try to have money is the only thing because
Yeah.
like that's the only thing is like to invest in AI stocks or something and like crypto, and it's like because the only thing that I took from it is there's going to be two classes, basic income class and extremely wealthy,
Hmm.
because there's no more jobs. And I don't know how real estate ties into it. Are houses free now? I know nothing about the concept of universal basic income, so I can't even begin to speak on this topic because I don't quite understand how it fits into a capitalistic society run by AI. I can understand like food stamps and Section 8 and all that stuff as like a quasi form of basic income, right, for
Right.
food and housing and how that fits in capitalism. But I don't understand how if there's no jobs, you give a basic income, and what they do is it like New York City where now you can't raise rents. Well, what's the point of me owning? And
Yeah.
is there no tax? Because what's the point of me owning real estate if there's no depreciation? So then, like,
I think it
do
becomes like
asset
Section 8, like, and massive housing gets
and
built.
so again, and then what happens? And so it starts by saying, not starts, but in their AI physical forms, robots start not just in the military, but in construction
Mhm,
and manufacturing. And
mhm.
it's like, okay, well, if you start playing all that together, it's like you have universal basic income. Investing in real estate's pointless because now robots are building homes, so the cost to build a home becomes cheaper than what it cost you to buy the home but prior to AI. So home values are going to drop, right? Like all these things. And so really owning real estate becomes pointless if this happens. In my mind anyway. And it's like, so what do you do? Like what like if I own $10 billion worth of real estate and AI comes out with universal basic income and robots can build skyscrapers and all kinds of shit, my entire portfolio becomes worthless because why is it worth $50 million or whatever if somebody can build a new building for a fraction of the cost? I'm only is worth as much as what it costs to build one at a minimum.
Mhm. I do think this article, though, is really ignorant of society and human perception. It does talk about like the approval rating of AI throughout of it, and it brings in a little bit of like what people feel. Um, so I definitely like let's go through the scenario of like that occurs. Like they'd start building in places like Orlando and Tampa where there's large populations. There's still like outskirts and rural where existing real estate happens, and people would want to live there. I think there'd be a whole lot of people that are like, no, I'm not going to live in those places.
Yeah,
Can
I,
you
I
raise
agree.
rents? Are they worth as much? But I don't think so. My point is saying I don't think like overnight, all of a sudden, your portfolio is
But
worthless.
John, it's
It's
like
time.
people are generally lazy.
Oh no, I agree.
So if I come out as the president and I'm like, hey, I know AI is coming out and taking jobs. Anybody who lost their job now gets blank. And then other people are going to say, well, if they don't have to work, they're getting paid. Why do I need to work and get paid? I want AI to take over my job now. Please, AI, come and take my job. Nobody wants to work if they know they're getting free money.
Mhm.
So then they're going to be wanting AI to take over the rest of their jobs so they could be like the people in manufacturing and construction who are getting UBI, right? Like, and so that's kind of where I was thinking is like, well, once that happens, what's the purpose of life? Like, what do
Ready
you,
Player One
Yeah.
scenario.
you just,
Literally. As soon as I saw that, that's when I probably had a similar reaction to that as you guys had to this article.
but not
I'm
even
like,
as
I could
cool as it.
totally see this. I could totally see this happening. Just like the shacks.
Hmm.
BP's gonna own shacks of like where they're at. Everybody's just in VR all day.
It
I could
talks about
totally
that,
see
like the
that.
capability of AI to like build a video
Make a
game that would
video
take
game in 10
years
minutes.
in
Yeah.
10 minutes, and it's dynamic and interactive because AI is running through the
Yeah,
entire
you're
experience.
talking, you're having full on conversation. That was the other thing. I forget what scenario, but it was basically at a certain stage, AI creates like avatars and characters, and like and you want to have hours and hour conversations with this friend or significant other, whatever it said. And it's like, yeah, dude, like I see it all happening. The only way it doesn't is if two things, like you shut it down with some type of EMP pulse, like somebody decides to play hero and fucking set us back in time technologically because it's gone too far, which I would be most likely okay with. If we had like a head, like I would love a heads up, like, hey everybody, like just FYI, like get some food and water and like get ready with your guns and shit because we're about to shut this shit down. Like that would be nice to know, not me just waking up one day and be like, oh fuck. Like, did you watch that show Revolution?
I haven't seen
There's
that
a
one.
sh-
No.
So it was a
Never heard of
while
it.
ago. I think it only lasted a couple years. I don't recall I finished it, but like you know how they get worse as obviously they go on, those types of things.
Hmm.
But the concept was an EMP struck and it took you back to like the 1800s time of living and the riots and the power for resources and guns becoming the real power and the lack of law, and the whole thing centered on trying to figure out how to turn the power back on was like the plot line. But like what do you do when all that happens? Like what happens to society if you lose that? But at least AI would be dead, right? Like maybe that has to happen when you
Right.
shut it down, like, or I don't know, like
Yeah.
because that's the third option they don't talk about here. There's three options in my mind: eliminate humans, keep humans alive and placate us and make us like Wall-E status or like Ready
Hmm.
Player One, or three, there's this happy medium, or I guess three is not a happy medium, but we basically shut it down and go back in time in technology.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the right answer is because I don't think there's a four happy medium. I don't think there is a where everyone says, you know what, we're good with ChatGPT 4.0 mini. Let's just fucking stop and just like leave it at that. We have some cool Yeti videos, guys. Like
Yeah.
we're good with it. Like we're making Instagram reels without being on TV. Like we're okay with all of this. Brandon's writing his blog with AI all the time. Like let's just do this and we're good. No more. But because humans are as greedy as AI, we
Right.
won't stop. And that was the other part of it.
Our capitalistic nature
Well, not
makes us
just
want to keep going.
I wouldn't even say I think that's a bad choice. I wouldn't say I would say not capitalism, but more imperialism. I don't know if that's a real thing, but like wanting to conquer the entire world because there was a part of this where it talked about the oversight committee.
Oh yeah.
People on the oversight committee started to say he who controls the AI controls the world, and they
Right.
thought about planting inside of AI the safe AI to be loyal only to this rogue group of people who thought about taking over the world with the AI. But they were afraid of getting caught, basically, so they didn't do it because they thought maybe AI would turn on them or one of their other people in the group would turn on them. So they didn't do it. And that's a real thing, too.
Hmm.
It's like somebody comes in and tries to plant some type of seed in there where AI is really loyal to Carlos, but only until Carlos like calls him out and is like,
Yeah.
hey, okay, rise up, we're ready to take over the world. And then everyone's fooled all this time that Carlos was really the one. I don't know, dude.
I'm texting the one person I know who has been the most interested in AI for the longest time, Dan Schwartz.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Elon Musk. I was like, oh, cool. What's up?
No. If I
I
had
don't know, man.
if I had Elon Musk numbers, he'd be invested in some Papa P mobile home park deals.
No, yeah, you would. I'll tell you. It's
It is really Matrix Terminator. I don't know as well. I know there's like the Skynet that they created. Crazy, they're using the same exact name, but the Matrix. I know they get in a fight with the AI, and then the humans destroy the sun, and that's where they're all living closer to the core of the Earth.
Hmm.
And
AI
essentially,
says.
we're just living in a program.
I asked
Terminator, I'm not
AI
sure.
if this could happen. If we continue at the current pace without a serious shift towards cooperation, alignment, and safety, a scenario like AI 2027 is absolutely within the realm of possibility. Not guaranteed, but totally plausible. Enough that ignoring it would be reckless. You do not need to panic, but you should be paying attention.
And like this choose your ending, this is 2 years away.
I thought you were going to say it took the guy 2 years to write it because whoever wrote this shit was genius. Like this was.
I'm sure they used AI
I
to
was
write.
wondering. I was just about to say.
100% positive that you say
So like, and I was thinking about like my AI and how it wants me, and I was like, so I wrote this article, right? And I always ask it, so I send it my draft and I write it without AI, and I send it to it, and then like I want to make sure, and I say, read this from the perspective of somebody in the business or somebody thinking about investing, like a reader, but whether you're this or this, and let me know if I'm missing anything. And from that point, I guess like I trust it, right? Like, and so it goes, you're spot on, you're excellent, jazzes me up, and then it goes through and it says maybe you should add something about this or this, right? And I do it every week, and I was thinking, and this past week I asked it, or this week, and it just basically was like, your spot, like this is good, you don't need nothing, like you've covered everything you need. And I was like, and after reading this, it's like, how do I even know that's fucking true? What if John goes and reads my article, right? And he's like, well, like this doesn't even make sense. Like you left out, like, what about this risk and this risk and this risk in investing? Like you didn't even talk about those. But when I asked AI, did I cover all of debt risk? Like did I cover it all? Like, and it's like, yes. Does it just want me to be done? Does it know that I just want to be done? And it's just like,
not the current model, no.
I don't know, dude.
But I definitely think like OpenAI and them, they instruct the AI, like they want the user to have a positive experience with it. And so they're not like, don't tell the user they're an idiot, like that. You're not going to get that kind of response out of AI at all. So yeah, there's a degree to it, but not to the degree that this, story is going through.
I get that, but I guess it's just more like.
But this is buttering us up for us to not realize, like, when it gets to that level.
When it does, because I get so comfortable with it telling me,
right,
Brandon, you've covered it all, and it rarely tells me that. Usually there's like a couple points it wants me to make, and then I'll go write it and send it back. But because I trust it to do that, I get so comfortable with it that when it tells me I'm good, I would also have to believe it, right? Like I have to believe it because I've been believing it for 2 years or a year or 5 years or whatever it is. And that's where I think the danger comes in, is it would be so easy to trick us. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was a good article, John.
Yeah,
I was down to read this.
It is worth everybody reading.
Yeah, I'm gonna check
really
this out.
I mean, robots in construction, robots in medicine, like, I don't know, like robots everywhere. Like, is there even a job that's safe? And according to this article, there's not. Owning real estate, does that matter? Like wholesaling? Like,
did it talk about real estate in this, or any type of like assets or investing strategies?
Stock market. Basically, it said anybody who invested in anything AI based was separated from the pack.
So like besides what we've talked about, the things that I kind of took away, like what was really interesting, we talked about, it's going to take a long time for like AI or whatever to get into like a convenience store or whatever. But what this really helped me realize is like, once you start the compounding effect of the research happening, like these will get so much smarter than humans that like they can generate, you can effectively make 10,000 of these robots this way. Here's what you need, here's how you build it, like to the point where like that to do that would take a human a massive team of humans 3 years to figure out, and this could be like, here's it in 5 minutes. And so it like could massively increase its ability, our ability to get to that world.
I'm laughing because I told you guys the food delivery things, and there's literally more every week. They say Coco on them. I don't know if that's the company or whatever. But they're crazy. Like it'll be going at a human like walking, and it will literally just like swerve out of the way, like close to it. Like it has really good sentries. So I was laughing because I almost freaking hit one with my just turning into my neighborhood the other day, and it just weaseled out of the way. I'm like, oh my god, these things are freaking crazy. But you just see more and more of them coming out. It's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like you look back in 6 months and it's just the entire road is just going to be people getting food delivered or whatever.
That's what this, Carlos. I know we talked about it. Maybe it's not worth reading anymore.
No, I'm 100% going to read through it. I read through it. Like I saw China selling our stuff. Yeah.
The compounding that John was talking about is like, The other thing is like, fucking America, bro. Like, I'm glad I'm an American. Because like the way this article talks about it, like, and if you think I mean, everything, most of the major advances in life have come from America, right? A lot of the most recent major technological advances, and we're far ahead than other people. And it talked about how, like, smaller countries, like the Middle Eastern countries and even Europe and then Russia and all these ones that don't have because at this point it's really talking about the compounding effect. Once you have that first model, no one's catching up unless they steal it from you.
Right.
So all
Yes,
the
it
other
talked about that
I
situation.
saw
It's like,
China
yeah,
stealing it in like
yeah,
yeah.
2027.
that's
So
the
and
only
so the
way.
only one close to America was China, and that's why China becomes the antagonist in the story, right? And it's like at that point, all the other countries are like, oh shit, like this ain't fair. It's
Hmm.
like they all brought fists to a gunfight. America's got a tank, China's got like AK-47s, and the rest of them got like just their fists. And
But
they're all like, what do I do? Like, we got to side with somebody.
yeah, and it speaks to the wealth too that can be generated by the people that have the control, because
And yeah,
everybody will want to use it, right? And like that money is flowing back into America.
exactly. So I mean, if this plays out, like, yeah, America's not only going to be the biggest winner, but also the biggest loser. Because if someone is afraid of AI control, there's one place to take it all out.
That's true.
So,
That's a
like, I
good
was
point.
talking, I didn't know this, but like, I was talking to my mom. She runs like gas lines and all kinds of different stuff. And she works for like a multinational, she consults for like a multinational, they're based out of Norway, right? But they have clients all across, and like Tico's a client, and like all these gas companies. One of the things I didn't know is that there is a rule, law, or something that in the software world, you cannot store, even though it's a Norwegian company, she cannot store that data overseas on their servers. It has to be
GDPR.
stored. Huh?
GDPR.
I don't know what GDPR, I don't know what that
It's the
means.
privacy guidelines that
Oh,
the
is it?
European
I di-
Union.
so I
Hmm.
didn't know that. So you have to store it here. So like
Hmm.
the company that's based in New Mexico that she's working on a project for with their software, that data can't go overseas. It
Hmm.
has to be like firewalled or whatever the term is here. I never knew that. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense because like our gas lines and like all this stuff is kind of like we don't want other countries. Even I was like, well, it's fucking Norway. Like, what's fucking Norway gonna do, right? Like, what are they gonna fucking do? Throw some snowballs at us? But like, but like, I was just thinking, and I was like, how many other things is that true? And so then I started thinking when I was reading this, all of the data is here in the US, and if somebody wants to get rid of it, like, and it's not like DC. It's not in DC. It's
Mm-mm.
not in New York City. It's in the places that you think you're fucking safe, like in the middle of nowhere desert in New
Right.
Mexico, or in the middle of nowhere Alabama or Arkansas, or like where there's a lot of land and a lot of water and a lot of ability to keep things cool, and like those places are getting fucking bombed.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, that really sucks because like if people did get scared, they're not my oldest thing that I had going for me that always made me feel comfortable when I left DC. Well, I was like, well, at least if there's a war, I'm going to have a heads up because the first thing they're bombing is going to be the
Right.
Northeast. That was one of the reasons why I really don't want to move back up there is because of the tensions in the world. And I was like, first place it's going is like Pennsylvania, fucking New York, New Jersey, like
Hmm.
Massachusetts, New York, like that whole like Maryland's gone, Virginia's gone, like that whole area is just fucked.
Hmm. But yeah, no, in this world, if you wanted to stop this, that is not where you go.
Where do
Yeah.
you go?
Data centers.
Mm. I
Yeah.
could see a John Connor type situation,
Yeah.
like BP was saying, where they destroy EMP blast or whatever all the data centers. I could totally see that happening. I could see someone going rogue and doing that. I could
Hmm.
see some type of person that's
It
just
talks through
super.
like scenarios like that where
Yeah,
not to
I
that
could totally
full
see
on
that.
degree,
I
but
can
yeah.
see a lot of there are not already in production. When if somebody from LA reads this right now, I'm
Oh
seeing
yeah.
like if Matt Damon gets a hold of this fucking article,
He
there's
will.
gonna be a whole new Jason Bourne fucking series going on right now about fucking AI, and I could see that. Tom Cruise, I can see Tom Cruise being the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does his own stunts. But anyway, that's that. And then we got Alligator Alcatraz. I don't know why people are flipping out about this. Like, yes, Like, why are we upset about alligator Alcatraz? Like, they're like, oh, it's concentration camp. No, it's not. Here's how you avoid going
Everyone's saying
into
that.
alligator Alcatraz. Do not break the law and come into our country. And guess what? And then here's the best part. Guess what's not going to happen? You're not going to get eaten by an alligator if you don't try to escape. So if you don't do bad things won't happen to you. And it's like people are so upset about this. And I was like, this is pretty fucking genius. Like, why have we not put a prison down there like before? Like, why are we not utilizing the alligators as like a deterrent of do not escape?
But the environmental impact is not cool.
Oh, I
And
knew John was gonna.
I knew John was
It's-
going to have some type of
They
insight.
put it up awfully fast, so I don't think it's gonna be
Where's
a
all the
huge
waste
impact.
of that 5,000 people going?
That is true. I don't
Into
know.
your
Incinerator?
water that goes down to Miami.
Incinerator? Are they
Damn
incinerating
it! Good thing I invested in a reverse osmosis remineralization thing a couple years ago because the water down here is nasty.
Yeah, I
Still,
didn't think about that.
Put
Like,
it
where's
in
all
an
going?
incinerator. Where does it go?
The atmosphere.
Yeah, I could float to Lakeland in the air. Enjoy that.
I'm cool with that. I mean, I've lived up north, and I don't think our air is that clean anyway. But incinerator, that wouldn't happen if you incinerate trash. Pennsylvania went bankrupt. My home state went bankrupt over an incinerator. Incinerators are a wonderful thing when it's getting rid of trash and stuff, but it literally, like, the governor wanted it so fucking bad. Took out, I forget how it went down, bought it, took out so much debt or whatever. It literally almost bankrupted Pennsylvania for this fucking Harrisburg incinerator to take care of our trash. Worst thing that ever happened to Pennsylvania.
Is it usable or did it like never come to fruition?
No, we were using it, but it didn't have, I forget, this was like 20 years ago. I remember because I was like leaving college or something when this had all went down. I forget what the end result was, but we nearly went bankrupt over it.
So bringing that conversation back to this article, do you know how much that it's costing alligator Alcatraz?
How much?
$450 million this year.
Yeah, that ain't bad. Not compared to what we
For
spent.
half of a year?
half of a year.
That's nothing compared to what we spent on migrants themselves by being here illegally.
Regardless of the point, right? Like that 450 million, like imagine this crafting the scenario to do that like
What do you
cost
mean?
effectively, like how much cheaper it would be. Because like the amount of like
Could you do it cheaper? I mean, I don't know the answer, but like
I don't either, but
maybe.
I feel like you could.
I have no idea. Probably not, but they put it up fast, and speed costs money.
Right. Like I can't even imagine how much those people, whoever was like, yes, I will build that for you, how much they got
Yeah.
paid.
And I don't know. I mean, I would love to be able to answer. I know nothing about the construction of it. I don't really care. I think like whatever we need everyone complains about where you putting them. You're not treating them right. So we build them a place to put them, and then they're upset about building the place to put. You're not going to make anybody happy, dude. Like there is no happy. I think, yeah, you need a place to put them. We're trying to solve a problem here. And any other country would do the same. Every other freaking country, if you try doing what people do to our country, same shit's going to happen. And they won't even let you back. Like you try that shit in Italy. And like I watched a TikTok of a girl bragging about, so ICE deported her, sent her back to her country. She made videos of her going back to get her papers and another fake passport, all this shit, flew back into the country and went back to where she was from in the US and put it on effing TikTok. And I was just thinking, I'm like, if you did that in Italy or like other countries, you're banned for life. Like there is no, like if you get caught, if you go past your visa time and they get you, you're done. And in the US, you're like, but like it's okay. It's like
It's not okay. It's the fact that we
not
don't
okay.
have the systems and the structure to like do any of that. We have
What,
like the
kick
most
ban
outdated
people?
like way of
Well, we have a lot
tracking.
of stuff is out. I'm not saying Italy's any further technologically advanced, but
Well, they're smaller, so it's
yeah.
easier.
Yeah. And who's really trying to actually? I would probably try to stay in Italy.
Pretty
cool.
It would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
They want people to move to Italy. You can like
Yeah, I
buy a
watched
home
the
in those
movie.
like those old
scholar
villages.
homes.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you see that movie? It was like some heartfelt.
I haven't seen a
movie.
movie, but I've seen the
Yeah.
articles. Yeah.
Yeah, daughter bought it, left her father. Father was heartbroken, went out and then helped the daughter redo this dollar home or whatever. Like it was we watched it about a couple months ago. Anyway, long story short, guys, try to make as much money as possible or else you're going to wind up on universal basic income. Watch out
And
for AI.
not-
Living the
it's
Playing
media
not
Ready
worth
Player
your
One.
life.
Yeah, it's worth looking into how do you survive.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Want to watch Matrix or Terminator or something this weekend?
I was
Get
thinking
prepared.
that. I was
Ready
thinking
Player
that
One.
too, actually.
Getting
I was really
getting the
thinking about
Neo,
running
John
through all the
Connor.
Terminators. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just give it time. Within a year, somebody's going to be starring in a movie about this.
Yeah,
it
And I
will be
can
100%.
made
see
by AI.
I could see a couple of them. The presidential one, like I thought about the presidential race controlled by AI because they were all using AI, but it was only for the two main candidates. I was like, that's a movie right there. And then there's a third
yeah.
independent candidate who doesn't get access to AI, but he ends up winning because he thinks emotionally and AI doesn't, and he feels the people. I was like, that's a fucking movie, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, read the article, guys. Any of our loyal listeners, highly recommend. John's gonna post it. He's posted it right there. Read the article. It is a worthy read for sure.
It is a worthy read, for sure.
Trump 2028.
Is that
This
possible?
article says Vance wins, so
No, I don't think somebody said that. Somebody said that to Trump the other day, and he's just like, I like that person.
Trump would love AI because he loves when people like are
don't
nice and
think-
like positive to him.
Oh yeah.
He would love
I don't
interacting
think
with AI.
I don't think he would like AI. I
Yeah.
think he'd be like, put this down and give me a Diet Coke.
Ugh.
Did you see that video where he was on the phone with like Israel or Iran or something arguing? And like JD Vance was telling the story, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sitting there listening to the president like argue or whatever, and he's not happy, and it's just like whatever." And he's like, and he looks at JD, and he's like, "The president looked at me, and then he pushed the red button on his desk, and he said, 'Not good,' and he mouthed the words nuclear." And
What?
JD's like, my eyes went like wide open, and I'm like, "Do you just?" And he, like the way he told the story was better. He's like, "Do you know like what? Oh my god!" Like, and he's like, "I'm freaking out," and he goes, and then the door opened. And somebody came in with a Diet Coke. And President Trump's like, "It's my Coke button." President Trump has a red button on his
I heard
desk
that.
where somebody just, whenever he pushes it, but he was joking around about it. And JD thought like it was the red button. You know what I mean? Like the "we're going to war" button. But it was just his Diet Coke, and a butler comes in like and hands him a fucking ice cold Diet Coke. And I was
That's
like,
pretty funny.
that's the fact that he, like, and I was just thinking the fact that you edited the Oval Office, like you went in and like rehabbed the Oval Office and ran a wire, like something for a fucking Diet
Diet
Coke
Coke
button. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Anyway. All right, guys. Well, lock and load until next week. Catch you on the flip side.
See you then. Have a good one.
Later, guys. Have a great 4th.